Hello ladies and gents, I've been wanting to cover this one for a while. It's closed at the moment, but you can still see pretty much of it from the outside and we'll get its history. Crossbones is the graveyard of the outcast dead. Who are the outcast dead? Immigrants, physically disabled people, sex workers and many ordinary poor people. Opening times, this is important, I need to get this, 12 till 2, Wednesdays and Saturdays. Extra opening times can be found on the newsletter. Lonely syphilis skull. Among the excavation of 148 bodies by the Museum of London, only 2 were found to have evidence of syphilis. The skeleton was estimated to be of a 16-year-old girl. She was found to have had third stage syphilis, which leads to psychiatric disorders and a hole in the skull. Third stage syphilis only occurs after 6 to 9 years of being continually transmitted. We have a replica of the skull inside Crossbones. You can see the hole in the skull. It belonged to individual 99, as it was the 99th skeleton excavated. This individual 99 is often quoted as evidence of underlying this site's history of sex work. But being the only skeleton with syphilis, individual 99 raises doubts about the site's connection to sex workers and the Winchester Geese. Yeah, we know sex workers, immigrants and ordinary poor people lived, worked and died here. Crossbones is the graveyard of all the outcasts, collectively and in solidarity with one another. Winchester Geese, this is the bit I wanted to get you to. The name given to medieval sex workers who were given licence to work in Southwark, the land under the fiefdom of the Bishop of Winchester, whose palace ruins remain by the Thames. And we've seen the ruins of the Bishop of Winchester's palace. Yeah, I think you can walk around the outside and see through the fence, as I'm told. So we'll do that. Yeah, you know the Bedlam, the mental asylum, the madhouse? Many of the people that died in there were buried here. Many of them. We're now going to go and see Crossbones Cemetery. And right into a great big puddle. And the thing I wanted to show you most were all the ribbons and everything that's in place here. And these are put here by, so we're told, prostitutes today who come and remember those who went before them. So yeah, there's shed loads of them. Each one is a prayer and whatnot and that. And I'll get you through it. It's not a big piece of ground, as you can see. Now this is pretty good actually. We can get a pretty good view of it from up here. And of course, being the poor, there ain't many, no gravestones. A few little bits of stone lying around, things that have been put here over the years. Yeah, this is basically if you were poor, a prostitute, an immigrant, you had no one or nothing, and you lived in the Southwark area, this is where you ended up, I'm afraid. And once the Anatomy Act came into place, the workhouses and everything like that, if you died in the workhouse, you could end up being anatomised if you were poor. Yeah, there's a bit of the history along here, so this will do for us, this will. I am woman. Without me, you would not be here. Crossbones Girl, Elizabeth Mitchell, 1832 to 1851. The entrance to Crossbones Graveyard is on Union Street. So we'll go right back to the beginning of the history wall and get you where we are. earthy delights. This is an interesting one, this. I probably will come back. We'll go right up to the end here and get the history wall, because it's an important part of it. So a lot of it is going to be the history encompassed in here. And don't you dare say that London doesn't ever take you to any interesting places. That's a building site, so that is not part of the Crossbones cemetery, but probably likely would have been back in the old medieval era. And I'm right in the road here, so 17th century ceramics and dish. So we'll start at this end and then we'll work our way down. Just pause to read the descriptions or anything you want to see. Cars coming. I'm just making sure I don't get run over here, preferably. 18th century ceramic dish. This is all stuff that's been found in this excavation here over the years. Londinium garden. Londinium was the Roman name that they had for London. And these are all the objects and stuff. Sorry mate. If I get over here, hopefully I might be a bit better placed. There we go. That's better. Down a minute. 18th century ceramic fragment. Oh, that's better. So I'm not in and out of the road like this. To 17th century lead tokens. Behind this fence, a team of Archaeological Museum of London are working on behalf Transport to London to excavate and record the archaeology of this site. This is the latest series of digs that have taken place here since the 1980s. Most of the archaeology here relates to people living and working here between 50 and 410 AD, when Britain was part of the Roman Empire. At this time, the land around you would have been one of several small islands making up the southern bank of the Thames. One of the streams that ran between these islands flowed past the end of the site, just where the fence ends on your right. In the year AD 50, the Romans built a bridge across the river nearby, about to where London Bridge is today, leading to a large settlement of Londinium, the Roman name of London. North of the River Thames, this site was part of a sizable settlement that formed the southern end of the bridge. Archaeologists are looking for more evidence of an important Roman building called the Mancio. People travelling around the Roman Empire on official government business would have used mansions like the one here as places to rest on journeys that took days or even weeks. Sorry about that. As well as this building, archaeologists have also found a range of other Roman objects. You will find them displayed across the hoardings. So yeah, it's quite a lot of it. Century ceramic dish. King Charles II, made in Southwark or Lambeth. 18th century bone dice. Oh, sorry, 1st century bone dice. Six-sided dice came into Britain with the Romans. Ones from Southwark demonstrate the presence of gaming and gambling in Roman Southwark, found here on this site. So that's those. Then you've got a 1st and 2nd century strap fitting. '18th century pewter tavern mug. Inscribed William Hearn. The Ship and Bell Tavern, 5-foot lane. Modern Tanner Street. Found at Tanner Street, Southwark. Earthly relics. And then we've got the other bit here, and I can stand in between these cars and do this, so it'll be a bit safer. 1st century dolphin. '17th and 18th century kitchen utensils. 2nd century pot fragments. And now we're coming up to the Crossbones Graveyard bit, so I'll zoom you back out a moment. Here we are. I'll stand here and I should be able to get it all in then without disturbing anyone. "15,000 women, children and men who lived and worked and died in what was once an impoverished and notoriously lawless part of London." I will come, although even though we've seen a pretty good view of it, I will come and visit it one day, go inside, because obviously it's interesting. Bishop of Winchester granted authority over the liberty of the Clink, a stretch of the bankside close to London Bridge which lay outside of the law of the City of London. This area was then part of the powerful diocese of Winchester. The remains of Winchester Palace can be seen on Clink Street. Done the Clink Prison Museum, which was an interesting one. Bishop of Winchester set 39 rules for the bankside brothels or stews, including that a woman lives by her body, shall have free licence and liberty to come and go as she please, without any interruption of the stew holder. So that's keeping a little control of pimps. Henry VIII orders the closure of bankside brothels. Despite his royal proclamation, the stews continued to flourish in this area for a century or more. John Stow, he's another historical Londoner, mentions a single woman's churchyard that many believe was Crossbones. These single women were forbidden the rites of the church so long as they continued that sinful life, and they were excluded from Christian burial. Such women were also known as Winchester Geese, obviously because of the licence they were given by lovely old Bishop of Winchester. Let me get to the right bit. Suppression of the bankside bear pits, brothels and theatres under Cromwell and the Puritans. Yeah, people had the ump with Cromwell because he banned all the things that people enjoyed. 1708. First recorded lease for a crossbones granted by the Bishop of Winchester to St Saviour's Parish. Body snatching. Regularly targeted crossbones at the burying ground in Redcross Street. 4 men, body snatchers, while resurrection men were at work and dug up a body and proceeded to put it into a coach and got away. Christ. That's not nice, is it? 1791, local people complain when plans are made to build a boys' charity school on Crossbones. They worry that the remains of their friends and family will be disturbed. Despite this, plans go ahead and the school opens. 1819, St Saviour's National Free School for Girls opens in Crossbones. Anatomist Joshua Brooks gives evidence to the government committee regarding a body taken from Crossbones. The individual was very robust and had been tattooed on the inside of his arms. A burial board committee is set up to consider improving the conditions at Crossbones, yeah, because this was a pretty bad one, this one, I must say. And where are we? 31, 49. Marianne Gwilt at Union Street writes to the Board of Health complaining about the appalling site conditions and the treatment of the dead in the bone house. With its open gating, we've had sometimes from 3 to 9 bodies lying in their shells for as many as 10 days. Good God, imagine the smell of that. It's a stank. Crossbones is closed. Described as being completely overcharged with the dead. The final burial of Sarah Fleming, aged 36, of St Margaret's Court, and a child named Sorday of Redcross Street are said to have occurred on the 31st of October. Brookwood Cemetery. This is the necropolis of the dead. I covered this in a separate piece. My back is hurting me. Oh. Right, let's get back down to where we were. Because this is confusing. I wish they'd done it in one straight line. The spirit of the goose reveals the secret history of Crossbones. At night he writes the first of the poems and plays which eventually grow into the Southwark Mysteries. In it he writes, "And will we know how the carrion crow doth feast in our Crossbones Graveyard." Oh, that's cheerful, isn't it? Southwark Mysteries Group. Just pause to read anything you wish to read. So I will hurry this one up a bit because my back is starting to hurt me. And I'm cold and it's raining. Apart from that, I'm fucking tip-top and tickety-boo. I had a few ancestors that lived in Southwark, but they weren't buried here. I know where they were buried. 2 ancestors I had that I couldn't track down at all for many years, and then discovered that because they both died in the poorhouse and their children didn't claim their bodies, they were sent to the anatomy school. Alright. Zoom you back out. Oh, my back is killing me. So yeah, I'll zip you through there and give you a little show of Crossbones. Remember, friend, as you walk by, as you are now, so once was I. As I am now, you will surely be. Remember, friend, and pray for me. I don't know where that comes from, but I have seen it. I thought it was William Shakespeare's, but it's not on William Shakespeare's grave. Yeah, a pretty decent view of what we've seen anyways. Gosh, my back is killing me. Right, I'll get you back round to the front. Some nice old buildings around this way as well. London's a very interesting place. Easy to get lost if you don't know your way around or whatnot. Redcross Way. This is still the Crossbones Graveyard. So yeah, there's another one there. When she was a girl, she expected the world, but it flew from her reach, and the bullets catch in her teeth. Life goes on, it gets so heavy. The wheel breaks, the butterfly, each tear a waterfall in the night. The stormy night, she'll close her eyes in the midnight. The stormy night, she'd fly away, dream of paradise, Coldplay. Wow, I'm just going to pause you a sec. There we are, we're back where we were. We'll come and visit this one. There you see Crossbones Graveyard, guys and girls. Hope you all found that interesting. If you did, please give it a like and a share. Thank you.